Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Underexposed, our weekly macro show, hitting all the biggest topics in trends impacting crypto and broader Web3. Today is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, and folks, the Iran war continues to rage on. It seems macro volatility is just increasing by the day right now, and yet crypto seems to be the safe haven asset. Bitcoin is up and pumping again here today. Is this our new normal or just a blip on the radar? We're going to talk about it on today's show. I'm your host, Tyler D. We got some co-hosts in the house. First up, D's, our mainstay, art collector, coin stacker, trader, and more. GM, how you doing?
GM, no hat today. Couldn't figure out what to wear, so we're just gonna do no hat for the first show ever.
A rare hatless D's. Maybe
yeah, take your screenshots.
Bottom sides. No Peter today. He is out. Spent some time with his daughter. Our thoughts with her. Everything seems to be good. But we've got Stats filling in. He is the chief chart officer over in Meme Land. Wears a lot of hats. I know he's been busy lately. We're rocking the pink hoodie. Stats GM.
GM. Always fun to hang out with the legends.
Indeed.
I'm just noticing those Fidenzas on D's wall. I'm sure like it's just totally commonplace now, but I'm just noticing them.
That those are like, my grandpa has deer on the wall. He's got like a 20-point deer and a 16-point deer. Like this is my version of those deer.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't own any of the NFTs.
Button on a computer.
I don't own any of the NFTs anymore.
So you don't own them anymore?
No.
Even they're part of the lore.
So
right now, the angle my head is at, all the NFTs are owned by me. If I go here, that Renga I don't own, the Quirky I don't own. But this angle, I own everything. That's
good. You just got to keep your head at the right angle then.
But also check this out. My wife just designed my wall. That's a good computer, which was one of the art blocks that I bought for like 2.5 ETH, and it's probably not sellable. But what's a couple grand between friends?
Yeah.
That's a story with a lot of art blocks. What's a couple grand of ETH between friends?
Yeah.
Was that I'm blanking on the black and white. That's
on my wall?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's like a drawing we put on our wedding invitation.
Oh, okay.
He's like, what drop was that?
Exactly.
Stats wedding art drop. Man.
Here's a question, guys. I know you got stuff to talk about, Tyler, but you invite me on, I'm going to talk.
Yeah.
I was looking at, I just retweeted your tweet saying, hey guys, saying everyone come to Sam or Stats Decent Tyler. And I was thinking, at what point do we stop defining ourselves by our PFPs? Does that just become something that was a 2021 thing that eventually kind of goes away? Or do you think that like where it just trickles lower, are we going to get a bounce back in people defining themselves by their NFTs? Like, because I was thinking maybe like this stops being a thing at some point.
Just going back to more normal.
I think you can argue that 2021 and COVID being peak online is like peak digital identity culture. I think the pendulum will swing back at some point. Like I don't see myself going away from PFPs, whether it's the puppet or punk or whatever the fuck. But I could see the pendulum swinging back in the future as people get sick of more of the state of the surveillance state that we live in and want to strip away their physical identity from their digital. But yeah, I think 2021 was the local top for that, at least for the next few years.
I've had thoughts of switching, but then it just feels like a whole ordeal. Like, oh, are you turning your back on NFTs? Are you turning your back on crypto? Like, oh, are you leaving the community? It just kind of feels like it's easier not to deal with that.
I mean, what else do I use? A picture of myself? Absolutely not.
Well, it's fun. Well, yeah.
People before I had the like NFT profile pictures, I was just using different Pepe memes. Like my profile picture was just a different picture of Pepe like every couple months. So
it's funny that you mentioned that, but I do have a new potential PFP I could use. Thanks to our good friend Stats. If folks missed this over the weekend, he's been coding with Cloud Code. He developed this new app. It's called portraitstudio.me. I've been playing with it. I uploaded a selfie this morning. Effectively what you do, you upload a selfie or a few, and his algo will make you a nice looking headshot. And I generated this one today, and I kind of like it quite a bit. I'm going to make it my decrypt headshot for sure. I might keep playing around, make a little more formal version as well. I don't know if I'm gonna update LinkedIn, but
You look like you just led around for a DoorDash competitor.
You could throw on the like quietly content, make you a little happier if you want. Like there's a mood thing where you can be like content or quietly happy, or
I went confident.
I love confident. Realism,
go
realism, go in hand. It'll like smooth. Yeah, just see what happens. Realism that like can turn you into supermodel, which is a problem because it looks nothing like you. But especially women. With women, it just goes too crazy. I need to get it to calm the fuck down.
Yeah, you can go younger. You can. There's a lot of things you can do to enhance.
Yeah, I got some today. I'm gonna ship something pretty cool though, where you can like see the outfit before you generate, which should be pretty cool.
Nice. Well.
Thanks for the
shout. There's this stigma out there that everyone's using Claude, no one's shipping anything. Well, here we go. We have a real world example.
Yeah, I made this product for myself because I was like making PFPs for people. I was like, hey, check this out. Like using some of my own photography is like, because I used to be really into like portrait photography, and I got sick of copy pasting the same thing into Gemini over and over, then pasting all the images and finding them in my folder. So I just told Claude Code, I was like, make me an app that just does this for me. And then I like started to be like, ooh, maybe I could add mood. Ooh, maybe I could actually like turn this into a product that it is funny. The one thing I have found, and I'm curious, then we're going to talk about markets. I have friends who I go out to dinner with, and it's like $150 a head, $20 mixed drinks, bitching at me because I won't give them a $3.95 code.
They're cheap. Yeah.
It's just, but these people aren't cheap in their everyday. It's like they aren't cheap when we go out. It is like, but when it comes to like pushing a buy button for $3.95 on the internet, it's like a test of your friendship if you're going to give it to them for free. I'm like, guys, this is just like a passion project that I'm losing money on. Just spend a little money, like $3.95, guys.
I will say there's a big barrier online for getting me from zero to spending anything.
Like totally. 50 cents. Yeah. Barrier of spending 50
I just lowered it from $4 to $3.95 so that I could say like you wouldn't even spend $3.95. That does feel cheaper than $4.
You have to price it like that. Even when I list things on like any marketplace, I'm at $4.99 instead of $5 like every time, or just the human psychology of pricing.
It feels like you're a cheap woman on eBay, and I'm kind of like, yeah, let's just like give full numbers. Like when menus
we're all cheap women on
$12, eBay. I respect it more than $11.95. The one last thing.
Oh, I've got more actually, but say yours.
Let's talk about subscription culture in America getting out of fucking control. I just got charged for like, you order like dog food. They're like, oh, well, we're just gonna make you pay this every month. I'm like, no,
subscribe and save.
Like I bought these pouches once that were like Zyn, but with no drugs, just like to make you feel cool, and they had like a monkey flavor. That is not a subscription product. I'll reorder it when I am done. And the next thing I know, I'm getting charged $50 in a month for something I don't want any. Everything in America is a subscription.
I had a crazy feeling the other week about subscriptions because, as Tyler knows, for a long time I even bragged about not using the Tesla full self-driving, and then we were going to Michigan for a thing, and I was like, we could spend $50 and just get full self-driving, and if we don't like it during the trip, it's like the worst thing we lose is $50. And then I flipped it on its head, and it's like, how crazy is it we live in a world where you can spend $50 a month and now your car just drives itself? Like for the price of one DoorDash meal, I now just have this car that drives itself. And I didn't buy full self-driving when we bought the car because it was like $8,000+. And then they had the $100 a month subscription, and I like didn't buy it because I was like, no, I like the drive. And then when it was $50 a month, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like we're going to Michigan. I don't really want to drive 3 hours a day. Let's see how this thing works. And it blew my fucking mind. And now probably 50% of the time I'm driving, it's driving itself. All for $50 a month.
Yeah, it's made for those long trips.
For the price of one Uber. It's like, well, now you just have an Uber.
It is one of those things. You're like, I mean, I remember that like these comedy routines when people would freak out because Wi-Fi wasn't working on a plane. It's like you are talking to your friends real time from the sky, and they're in Australia, and you are literally making it like you are a victim when it stops working. It's just but it's like $50 for a car that will drive you.
Yeah, safely too. Like I was pretty impressed because we have a 2023, so it's like some of the older hardware. But I haven't felt unsafe either, which is what I thought I would feel.
There's sometimes when it's like hurtling and hurry mode onto the highway. Like
I don't haven't put it in hurry mode yet. I will say I don't use it when like I'm driving around the neighborhood. Like the way that it fully stops and like takes to like I'm coming to a half stop at a stoplight or like a stop sign because no one's here. It's dead quiet. But this car is like, nope, we gotta come to a full stop, look left, right 6 times. So I turn it off for that. But yeah, the highway. Whew.
Well, Seth, this is final comment. We started this with NFT PFPs. Maybe that's V3 of the app. There's some kind of a hybrid. Take your cartoon NFT PFP with your real life, and let's get a new version of this to help transition people off. The Alex Finn route, how he slowly transitioned out of his PFP to real life. Maybe there's something.
That's a marketing ploy for my thing. I have got a few people who have PFP'd it already. I mean, when they work, they're fucking beautiful. When they work, they're beautiful. Good. Yeah. But now I got to stick with the punk. I really, you guys know this. I'm a punk native. That's kind of not as native as D's. I don't have screenshots of telegrams in 2019 of people buying a zombie for $2,000, but that it was punks that got me into the game, and I don't want to turn my back on it.
Yeah, I think holding 3, you count as a pretty top collector. So we'll give it to you. Well, folks, we're going to get into the show. We're going to talk the macro. We're going to talk Bitcoin outperforming just about everything else during this war. I ran the numbers. Hype heating up, some new launches, margin, HIP4 is in testnet. This surprising headline this morning. Well, first off, Polymarket's raising at $20 billion, and now they're tapping Palantir to investigate sports betting on their platform. So that one came out of left field. We'll talk about more as well. A couple of housekeeping items. We're live on Kick. As always, we're live on X as well. We're going to do 2 Yeet giveaways at the end of today's show, 2 $500 giveaways. So you're going to want to make sure to follow the instructions, be signed up on Yeet, Morning Minute ref code if you aren't already. Have to be signed up. Use the code. And we'll do those spins at the end of today's show. And as always, before we get started, quick disclosure, the opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the speakers and do not reflect the views or opinions of any organizations they are associated with. We are here to share insights, provoke thought, and maybe even start some debate, but this is not, I repeat, not financial advice. Always talk about markets, investments, and trends. Remember, your financial decisions should be made with the help of your own research or with advice from a licensed professional. All right, well, let's get into it. I had the crypto screen up briefly before I went into Sam's app, but we'll pull it up again because it looks awfully nice here this morning, folks, or this afternoon, depending where you're at. We've got Bitcoin 71,250, up 4% on the day, up 4% on the week as well. So we are green since last week's show. ETH hanging out up about 4% as well. 2,075, Solana up 2% on the week, 87.89. This has come while I think stocks are basically flat. Gold is basically flat as well since the Iran war. And of course, the bigger story of the last few days has been oil. Oil spiked all the way to close to 120, definitely 115 late Sunday night on Strait of Hormuz concerns, and has since fallen about 30%. It is back around 84. Last night's pump, seemingly, folks attributed to Trump taco, perhaps saying the war may be coming to an end sooner than the 4 to 5 weeks, even though kind of speaking out of both sides of his mouth, kind of answering questions in multiple ways. So hard to be too confident about that. And then breaking before the show, I saw Steve Witkoff comments that the U.S. has depleted most of Iran's enrichment capabilities already. I haven't had a chance to dig into that one yet, but that was some breaking news. But that's broadly where we're at in terms of macro. I think just first question, Deez, I'll throw it to you, and then we'll plug stats in. Are you surprised to see crypto's outperforming other primary assets so far during the conflict, actually performing like a safe haven asset?
Yes and no. I feel like it's down so much already going into this that it's hard to find more sellers. So I think in that sense, it makes sense. I was watching the oil market over the weekend too, just because so many people on crypto Twitter decided to buy it like over $100 a barrel or whatever. And that seemed, I never short things. We talk about this, but that seemed like a good time to short when like the timeline was talking about selling crypto assets for oil in a never ending war. think there was something that came out where like, is it Iran said like, oh, we're going to fight for like 6 months or something too. And that kind of added a little bit to the, I don't know, chaos this weekend until Trump came out and said, you know, I think the war is almost done. And then came out and said, you know, maybe it's just getting started in so many words. But yeah, I'm never too surprised. I think crypto has been just beaten down so badly that we are getting out of sellers, and that when people want to buy something that, you know, I guess isn't US equities, it's interesting.
They've run out of sellers is certainly a poor man's last words.
That's never gotten us in trouble before. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's never hurt us before.
Guys, I thought
good news, guys. All the Azuki sellers are gone.
Well, we were at 70. Where were we last week? We were like during the show around a similar price, or was it before I think maybe it was the day before we were back in the 70s.
Wednesday, last week we pumped to 74.
Yeah, okay. And then that day kind of felt like we could be back. Like there was the we could be back energy. And then the next day was like, oh yeah, we're actually like in this war and shit's going to be bad for a while. And right now we're right back to the, well, it could be back energy.
It sure feels that way. For the record, I thought we were out of sellers up here. I drank all
100K.
Kool-Aid. Sailor had absorbed all the sellers. As soon as the next buy wave comes, like we're just gonna, like, this is the leg 280. If 180 was a pretty consensus target for 2025.
Dude, what happened to the easy road? We just had to get to 120K and there was like an easy road.
Thanks, Kobe.
Oh, we never got to the easy road.
Yeah, I'm like Tyler, actually. It's like in my dad's investment philosophy is buy high, buy more higher. and I am his son. So it is definitely, I definitely am buying at 120 and like, holy fuck, maybe we got to sell at like 70. That's just, which is why I never even pretend to even tell people what to do with their money.
Let's do the opposite.
It's been very strong, right? What's the Bitcoin gold chart look like here? It's got to be nice here over the last week.
Gold's up today too. It's back to 52.
So over the month,
climbing.
Basically flat over the past month.
Yeah, gold looks good too.
Since the war started around here, and we're up a couple percent. So not a significant move against gold. Both of those doing pretty well. The driver, for me, I really think it's stretch, and I've been tweeting about this a lot. But for whatever reason, people have
strategy. What did you just call it?
Well, the stretch is their new product. So this is
okay.
This is Strategy's new. It's kind of like a bond. They call it digital credit, but basically you earn 11.5% yield on these stretch shares at $100 par value.
Interesting.
And you get paid out monthly. And in theory, you can then sell your shares down the line at 100. Of course, you have to have a buyer. And if there's not a buyer, then this was trading below 100 for quite some time. But above 100 is where it gets interesting. As of last Tuesday, the record was 787 Bitcoin in a day. Yesterday, it got to 1360, and now it looks like it's going to set another smashing record today. So all said, Sailor's been a big buyer. He was a big buyer last week, 1.28 billion. I think he's going to be a big buyer this week as well. So he's absorbing a ton of the sell pressure. For me, I think that's going to be enough to push us higher in the near term. The failed breakout at 74 last week definitely demoralized a lot of folks. But I think if we beat that level this week, I think folks will be paying attention again. But of course, there's just so much volatility out there right now. It's hard to be super confident. I am curious, just like macro setup stats, maybe I'll toss this one to you. In my head, it feels like there's a lot of, even though very different situations, I see some parallels to last year's tariff sell-off where we sold off similar time, February, March, and then effectively V-shaped as kind of Trump walked back from some of the early initial tariff demands. And in theory, the war, hard line, and then perhaps as he walks back, as we get to a deal, would we see a similar market recovery? I'm curious if you're thinking about it like that. Agree, disagree? Neutral.
Yeah, man. We always say not investment advice. I want to like triple down on not an expert on geopolitics, particularly as it relates to Iran and Trump's goals there and how they respond to Trump, like things I literally know nothing about. But all those disclaimers aside, my armchair kind of like thoughts would be probably no one wants to be in war if they don't have to be. And, I've like the taco trend is just so non-negotiable at this point, where Trump really, and taco is pejorative, but I think what it's saying is that Trump really, really does not like stock markets going down. Like markets are the one thing that have him by the balls. Like no person has Trump by the balls, but markets do. And anytime you get like a down 5 to 10% move, like the people he cares about are in his ear, and he walks back what he was doing. Now, I think one of the thoughts was, well, once you start a war where people are bombing Dubai and a school with 150 kids gets killed and all that stuff happens, it's not like you can walk it back like you could with Liberation Day tariffs, because you're messing with too many cultures and people and leaders and stuff like that. But the market right now is saying, actually, you can. Like when Trump says this is over, everyone else is going to find a way for it to be over, because they're just kind of responding to him. And I think that's kind of what the markets are saying right now. And then it's back to having a high spending, loose monetary policy desiring president. Which is positive for markets in general.
Yeah. It seems like it kind of boils down to that. And if you think that's how it plays out, I guess now is perhaps the time to start thinking about going long, although
I'm not sure though. I mean, it's not like you're getting paid for the risk right now, though. I mean, I generally don't sell, right? I just kind of hold a bunch of stuff and never sell, because that's the place in my life I am in, the place in my financial journey. I just bought a bunch of shit and I just let it rip, and I hold it for a few years. But it's not like you're getting paid to take a huge risk here. It's like we're still like basically at all-time highs on NASDAQ.
Yeah, the pain hasn't really come yet for the most.
Taco kicks in on like a down 3% day.
Right.
The question is, at what point is the president changing his mind not sufficient to reverse markets? Or is it literally a thing right now where we're like, oh, fuck, then okay, back to normal?
I mean, is there like a boy that cried wolf aspect to this at some point where people stop pricing that in? Like,
we just bombed Iran.
I would have thought maybe it happened by now.
We just bombed the hell out of Iran. Iran took out their leader. Iran bombed Dubai and other places that were always safe havens, and the markets are still at all-time highs. So I think the market's basically saying, we don't believe you with pretty much anything he does. That feels like it could be destabilizing, because they're almost pricing in we'll figure it out.
Yeah, the taco component feels priced in.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I think
it doesn't feel priced into Bitcoin though.
Well, Bitcoin was crashing, but I mean, before anyone mentioned the word Iran. I mean,
I know what happened there.
It's actually been pumping on the Iran stuff.
What happened to our crypto president, dude? Can he step the fuck in?
I know. Maybe JD Vance can fix this.
JD Vance means
maybe JD Vance, Eric Trump, and Don Jr. could have a conference where they invite Wizard of Soho, and we'll all be okay.
The news on that front is JD is down 6%, and Marco Rubio is steaming.
The algorithm loves sending me Marco Rubio positive propaganda, and I don't know if it's because I always engage with it, but like I've gotten a lot of good Marco Rubio clips in the algorithm over the last month.
Never have you been punished more for having like a wayward thought. Like, oh, Marco Rubio, kind of interesting in this drunk moment when I'm checking my Twitter. You like the post. The next thing you know, Elon plasters you with Marco Rubio.
Dude, I was getting Marco Rubio clips from 10 years ago. Of like,
it's part
he had something he said about Iran 10 years ago that was like kind of, basically turned out to be true. And that was really just all over my timeline for like 2 days.
Well, that one actually did go pretty viral.
That wasn't just me on the toilet. It wasn't
just you and liking all the various memes. The meme
because I liked that one, and then after that, that's when I just started like what if Marco Rubio could be the best football GM in the league? Like type tweets just start hitting the timeline. Like,
he is one of the better memes of this administration.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's better than whatever they're doing on the White House Twitter account, man. Some of the things coming out of that White House Twitter account with the Iran stuff, I probably chuckle more than I should, but it like doesn't seem great. Especially when they're using like songs and other people's likeness of like people who do not support what they're doing, and they're just throwing it up there.
Yeah, it's fairly unhinged.
It won't surprise anyone that I'm not a fan. Look, like when I ran Uber in Asia, you just have standards you hold yourself as, and it is weird to see. I think there's a message they're stating of like those standards, no one liked them anyway, and let's just show that we can just fuck around. But yeah, I don't know, when kids are dying, it's kind of like, let's just show a little bit of grace here, because if our kids were dying, we'd want the enemy to show a little.
Yeah, they're
grace.
taking like a big hit montage from the NFL and like overlaying like AC-130 bombs landing with fucking NFL linebackers hitting running backs. And you're just like, all right.
Well, I think
you just don't want to celebrate bombs landing on people because, I think we feel like we're invincible here, but you never know what the next 70 years are going to hold, and just show a little bit of grace here, folks.
Not even next 70, like next 20.
Next 6.
Next 5 minutes, dude. I don't know.
Tomorrow.
Deez is dealing with Bigfoot.
I got Bigfoot in Ohio. 8 foot, 9 foot Bigfoot.
There's a lot going on at the moment. Well, I think one big macro topic that's been overshadowed a bit by the war, and rightfully so. 2 weeks ago, we were worried about AI taking everyone's jobs and that impact on the economy. It seems like people aren't as worried about that. They're worried about other things now for the time being. But Stats, I'm curious for your thoughts on that. You're an AI power user. Are you buying the hype is the wrong? Are you buying the doomer take that we're going to see 10 to 50% white collar wipeouts in the next 1 to 5 years? And that's a pretty huge range. Let's call it 25 to 50. 10% wouldn't really be as a huge of an impact, I know, but like 25 to 50, which is what Dario has largely been saying on his media tour.
It's pretty dire, I think, when you like I just think back to the Uber days. Like if we wanted to implement promo codes, the amount of people you kind of needed to figure out a promo code system, this is on the engineering side, but like it literally, you just say, hey, I want a promo code system where if someone refers someone else, they get 3 credits, and the person who gets referred gets 20% off their purchase. I'd like it to be up on the top of the bar, and okay, coming right up. Takes 5 minutes. It does it in like the speed with which like really people intensive stuff is getting wiped out is kind of like wild. And I don't know, it's just like my friend's getting a photo shoot today. He's like, yeah, my photographer wants me to go buy clothes and make sure I'm like dressed appropriate. I'm like, I can literally swap out your clothes and it'll still look exactly like you in 5 seconds. Why would you spend $1? I just see all these ways, I don't know. I don't know enough about big picture trends, because one would have thought the internet would have wiped out jobs, right? And it created jobs, and I think like, I don't know enough about the offsetting factors to know how to think about this holistically. But I met a photographer yesterday and I was talking to her and I'm like, damn, dude, like there are just so many fewer, like if you're someone who does like corporate products, like someone can literally just take an iPhone picture of it, send it to AI and say, make this look awesome in a style that we agree on, or that you just wiped out a designer and a photographer without blinking.
I think that the primary counter has been people will just do more. So
this is like one of the more interesting sound bites I think on that is that was what people thought about the internet as well. And the internet is kind of arguable if the internet's actually made people more productive, because on the one hand, you have this ability to contact your friends, to do podcasts, to do all this stuff online. On the other hand, you have an ability to see what your friends are doing, to chat with someone from high school, to look at pictures of your ex-girlfriend's vacation to Florida in your pocket at all times. And it's actually become a weapon of mass distraction. I just think like is this thing going to make people more productive? Like, it's not even clear that the internet has made people more productive because it's made people so much more distracted. And I only use that to think of like the obvious thing that things are going to do. There are all these offsets that we're not aware of. There is data out there that AI is making people like substantially stupider. I actually think like MIT's run some, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to quote stuff I haven't really dug into, but that is a soundbite going out there.
You almost you switch from being a producer to a consumer when you use it, depending on how you're using it, and you're using different parts of your brain, you're using less. Like I've seen that as well. I mean, similar trend with tablets in schools, right? You thought that would be like the first order effect, like, oh, this is going to be good for kids, more ways to learn. Now it seems like it's the opposite.
Based on seeing the way my kids look when you take a tablet away from them, to me, it strikes me as saying like, ooh, like cocaine in colleges is going to be good. Yes, we are more productive when we do uppers. Like we can be really fucking productive for uppers when we're on uppers. Like the amount of shit I can build on Adderall is kind of out of control, but like, it's at a cost.
We took away our kids' iPads. Well, we didn't take, they gave them up for Lent, and I don't think they're going to get them back.
Well done.
We got a new version of Lent now. It's called Forever.
I got to get some more religion in my family's life because that would save me a whole lot.
This is actually summer Lent, and then that transitions into the fall Lent cycle, which goes to winter Lent, and you might get them back next year.
Jesus is always watching, and he's got Santa on speed dial.
Dude, I got to get that quote painted on my wall.
I'm seeing everyone in college using AI. Yeah, they are. And now they're not going to be qualified to do anything because they don't have any critical thinking skills, unfortunately.
I feel like the AI, like, at least for me, who is still a boomer with it, like it does, I feel like help me with critical thinking because I need to think about the exact like steps or data or whatever I need to do this thing, and it's not just this like abstract concept in my head anymore, but I have to like sit here and tell Claude, hey, I need these 9 data points like when I click on this thing to show. And I'm doing it like mostly for Pokemon collecting, so it's a little different, I guess, but like it does make me think at least a little more critically of like, okay, well, like what repetitive processes am I doing every day that I can automate? Like what data do I actually need to make a decision rather than just like what is all the data I consume that, I filter out most of in my head. And
maybe the big problem isn't that we need things to organize what we're doing, it's that we're not doing anything. Maybe like that's the humanity wake-up call. Like
when Claude is like doing its thing, are you paying any attention to like anything it's doing? Because like the first week I sat there and I kind of tried to like follow along of like, oh, like what is it doing? Like what is its thought process? And now it's on another computer to my right, and I just don't even look at it. Just check when it's done.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely, it doesn't even allow you. It just goes too fast to even read it. And then it gives you tons of
you could scroll back through it. You don't want to go through and learn what it just did.
No. I mean, I was a computer science minor in college, and I actually took a 1-year course in web app development. And no interest.
No interest.
It's just, I don't know the infrastructure of this app. Like that would be impossible. Like it's just at the speed we're operating at. Like you learn a lot more doing this about the way everything comes together. Like there have been some very real bugs. I lost all my day one users because Claude missed something. And like there's a lot. It is not. I would say this. Like, yes, it has cut everything out. It has still not been easy. To do. Like you have to connect your database, you have to connect authorization, you have to connect Stripe. There's all like you have to get all these different pieces working together, and it can only do so much. And you got to make design choices, and then it does have mistakes. And Gemini is a pain in the ass, and it's like it's not perfect yet, but it's pretty fucking good.
So on your net learning.
A ton. I've learned so much about just the problem with like the web app product I built is like when I was in this class, you spend all your time learning to code. So then you never even get to figuring out some of this stuff because the coding is so much work. And then now it's like, okay, the coding's taken care of, but I have to learn how does someone log on from their Apple account, log on from their LinkedIn. Like that stuff's actually not that easy to I mean, it's not hard, but it's not instant.
But in a lot of ways, that's like the more important, like IRL, like if you actually want a product.
Certainly if a robot can do all the coding for you, it's more important. You know, I mean, if you got no coder, I'd say the coding's more important. But
all relative. The reason I had that, I had this chart up. I think this one went fairly viral over the last few days for folks who are online, but basically AI favorability is incredibly negative. There's only a handful of things more negative for this NBC poll. It's basically in line with ICE, the Democratic Party, and Iran. Iran the worst in this poll by far. But I feel like there's going to be real consequences for this, probably in the 2028 election. I think 2026 is going to be too soon. Folks aren't going to have enough policies stood up or platforms, but it feels like anti-AI is going to be a platform. I don't know exactly what that means.
Are the Democrats going to be the anti-AI, anti-crypto party in 2028? I've been worried about this. I feel like since we started the show and we were starting around the last election, and I was like, man, I really hate how Trump turns so much of the tech stuff into a political fighting match.
I feel like I've been coming out anti-Dem the last few years, and I want to walk back from that because I'm more just moderate in the middle.
We need the third party.
My reaction to your question is yes, that would be their stance. And on the anti-crypto piece, like I watch the local news every night, and I see all the political ads that are running rampant right now. And basically, it's when they're trying to bash their opponent, they're saying they fundraised via ICE donors and they took crypto money. Like that's the big glaring red flags right now.
And that's just like local Chicago type stuff.
Can I offer that there is a lot of corruption in crypto? Like I think it has a bad reputation for a reason. And I think like when you have the Bitcoin lobby completely being one of Trump's absolute biggest donors, and the first things he does is some kind of aesthetic stuff just to pump our bags, like that's just not a good look. I mean, I think that this is all part of the reasoning that this administration is not really that great for crypto. So I think that those complaints probably do resonate, Tyler, with the average voter. And I don't think it's all that wrong, because you don't want politicians taking crypto money and then creating legislation to get the government to buy crypto.
Well, I do think it's there. I do think it resonates for sure. We've seen a couple positive headlines though. So like this, just real quick, we don't need to talk about this too long, but I thought this was a pretty positive news out of the Treasury yesterday, acknowledging legitimate privacy use cases for crypto mixers. And I'll admit, when I first came, and I have an AML background, when I found out about Tornado Cash, I couldn't believe this was allowed to exist. Of course, unstoppable on the blockchain. So I could see how the government would be anti-tools like that. But I thought it was notable that they're saying, okay, well, there are some reasons why you could use products like this. So I thought that was a positive step. And we saw Zeke move a bit on the back of this. Zeke also moved because the former Zcash team raised $25 million yesterday. Nice little pop there. But I
think the Democrat Party is just so hated because Democrats hate the party too. You know, it's like when you lose as bad as the Democrats did, like everyone hates it, including the people in it, you know, so it's just got that mad hate everywhere. But yeah, I don't think crypto is very popular. And I actually think that's one of the reasons that Trump has backed down on a lot of the ideas of the Treasury buying it. Because at the end of the day, they just couldn't defend to the public the idea of using tax dollars to buy Bitcoin at $120,000. Because if they did that, then if you gave them $100,000 in taxes, it is now worth $60,000 because they bought an asset that they took billions of dollars of donations from a group who holds it. Like, this is just not like in our space, we celebrate it, but it is just objectively terrible, terrible policy decision-making if you're one of them.
Yeah. You're right. They backed off of that. Unclear that we'll
just imagine that if you're someone who paid $100,000 in taxes and it's now worth 60 grand because your government decided to buy Bitcoin, which you don't own, and a bunch of people who donated shitloads of money to their campaign do own. Why would any politician be like, that's a risk I want to take? And it's also not fair to the worker. Like, these are just volatile assets. And like the whole like government treasuries is not meant to be in super volatile assets. And people are gonna be like, oh well, gold. I mean, gold was just a much less volatile asset in the past. And you know, it's historic precedent does have a way, you know, but I think El Salvador looks stupid right now.
Yeah, I think they'll.
You want to be Sailor? Imagine if we did what Sailor did. That's what we want. We wanted the government to be Sailor.
I mean, a couple more sailors and we would be on the easy road.
I mean, the three of us would be chilling in the Bahamas, you know, doing this podcast live with our families.
That would be
online homeschooling, you know, with Tim Ferriss or whoever we got on Zoom, you know, like it wouldn't be terrible. But
yeah,
just thinking it objectively as non-bag holders.
Yeah, it's not great. It's also not great when your president immediately before they're even inaugurated launches a meme coin and then his wife launches a fucking meme coin.
Then you find out who advised the wife.
Is that Hayden Davis or is that?
Yeah, Hayden.
Yeah, good.
They did a good job bearing that though. Like the American public does not know who Hayden Davis is.
It's impressive how much I feel like no one, because people hate crypto so much, so like they don't hate the Trump's like rugged crypto coins. Like they don't. That is a non-factor to them. They're like, well, fuck crypto anyway. Like they deserve to be rugged.
I mean, one thing about Trump though is no one elected him, no one voted for him because like this is a guy who's not going to make money himself. You know, it's like they also people don't expect him to be honest. It's like a lot of the things that people are like, oh, but he lied, but he did these things that were unethical financially. It's like no one who voted for him didn't know that that's just kind of part of who this guy is. Like
the Shkreli Trump token with Barron Trump.
Oh,
Martin Shkreli was ready to go to war for Barron Trump.
Yeah, that's buried in the lore. I mean, I know folks who maybe not quite like normie status, but normies did buy the Trump coin for sure, right? Like that thing had a lot of holders. So
they got rinsed. Like imagine that was your onboarding. Imagine that you're like, oh, I haven't found a coin I want, but like I like Trump, I'm gonna buy the coin, and then the next 6 months you're down 90%.
Skill issue.
You're not gonna want to buy more coins. You're not gonna think like, oh well, I'm sure I'll buy the right coin next time.
Well, let's talk about a coin that I do want to buy. I don't have. That's Hype, looking quite good.
Last week you were looking for an entry, I remember.
I know.
The phrase "still looking for an entry" was uttered.
It had another huge weekend. It was in the Bloomberg headlines once again as the market where you can trade oil 24/7, which I think that Bloomberg article is now a local top sign. Like if you see a Bloomberg Hyperliquid article about that asset, it's a local top. But Hype has that as kind of like the soft bull drive right now, and then they've got the fundamentals are the hit volume is up and to the right, so their actual volumes tied to it have been fantastic. Now a couple features dropping, so they got this new margin. Folks are going to be able to borrow up to $1 million. It looks like based on their portfolios, and then we've known HIP 4 was coming, which is going to be their version of the markets. And it looks like that is now live on testnet. So Hype coming for all the assets in the world. And now it looks like they're coming for prediction markets as well. How you feeling about Hype? Are you raising your target? Oh, we also had Arthur Hayes write his latest blog about Hype.
That's never a good sign. Do you not remember the summer when Arthur Hayes was like on stage talking about Hype going to $1 bazillion, and then like 6 days later or something, he full stacked his entire Hype position and then tweeted like, "Yeah, I do think it's gonna go there, but we're going lower, so fuck it."
I do. Yeah,
I got a little bit of PTSD from that. I mean, I am comfy. I haven't sold any or thought about selling any. The prediction market stuff I look at a lot. How I look at like the Hype EVM stuff, where we're looking at metrics that are only tied to the perp dex and the product of the perp dex, and you get these other secondary upside things like, oh, the Hyper EVM could be sick and could have all this extra opportunity on it. Oh, prediction markets could be sick, like this could flip Polymarket and Kalshi. It's like in my head purely just upside. It's not really baked into why I own the token or why I like holding the token. But it is just pure upside to like, well, if any of this stuff is actualized into what they think it's going to be, it's just even more upside for this token.
It's a good way to look at it.
Like, am I rushing to use the prediction market when it opens up? Like, probably not. But you know, I don't really use hyper EVM that much either. So I'm excited to see how it does. Like, I don't think it's going to do badly.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, we've seen some of the bigger players kind of launch prediction markets on top of what they had, like what Coinbase did. I think a few of the other bigger exchanges have, and I don't know they've gotten a whole lot of traction.
I mean, just the competition in the prediction market space right now. I know I wasn't super aware of what was going on. I was in college when like FanDuel and DraftKings were blowing up, and there was everybody and their mom trying to make a new draft product. But it feels like similar to that to me, where you have like Kalshi and Polymarket, who are very clear, established, dominating winners right now. They're getting, I don't know what percent of the prediction market volume, but it's got to be over like 95%, right? Or over 90%. And we just see like, you know, Underdog is pivoting to prediction markets. We see these other entities that weren't even crypto entities thinking like, we got to do prediction markets now. It's like, I want to say they're late because like anything can happen, but like to me, the prediction market space almost feels pre-won. And I don't know if that's right or wrong take, but like I feel like in 5 years, it's prediction markets are a thing. It's going to be Polymarket and Kalshi. It's not going to be because like a new prediction market came and unseated them, but I could also just be completely off base there.
I mean, the interesting thing is how much it's really Kalshi. I think like Polymarket. I mean, Kalshi, because Kalshi is the engine behind Robinhood, and all of these platforms are literally just powered by Kalshi's liquidity. And it's I mean, that was the edge Uber had, is like, it's just very hard to build. Like with Uber, we needed tons and tons of drivers in every city because that's what makes wait times low. And if wait times are 25 minutes, no one books you. And if drivers are spending more time going to pick you up than they are driving you, because they don't get paid for their pickup and they do get paid for their driving, then they're not going to be on your platform. So just like the network effects of Uber made it so hard for anyone to break in. And the only way to do it was to come in and pay drivers $10 for every ride that riders paid $5 for. And that becomes, yeah, and then you have to kind of be in a different funding environment to do that. So I don't know. I think that these companies have lots of risk in them because of the regulatory. I mean, again, it's just sketchy as hell. You have huge donors who are behind them. You have Trump Jr. behind them, and then the CFTC is just completely in the hands of the administration. But it's not always going to be the CFTC. So I think there are risks on a regulatory side, but like from a competition side, it feels like there's a lot of moat here.
Are you a buyer at 20 billion?
I don't know, man. One of my best friends is pretty senior at one of those companies, and I don't know, man.
They're feeling good.
I probably should be. I probably should be a buyer. We all should have worked there. I mean, we all could have done the ICO beast move, you know.
Dude, I said no to both platforms.
I was gonna say exactly. You're sitting here podcasting with a Fidence on your wall, so you're good. Bro.
Yeah, there's things about both of them that rub me the wrong ways from like the very top.
Tyler and I have talked about it.
I can't work for people I don't respect. Like that's just the North Star of mine. And like I couldn't work for either of those companies.
It's very hard to put your reputation and public face behind something you don't believe in.
Yeah, especially like people who I feel like are very likely to be dishonest with me at the top. So
yeah, I'm not sure they're the best managed companies, but I think yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the only real case for this shit is like, just let people do whatever the fuck they want with their money. Like, I feel like that is the case. It's just like a total freedom play. Let people transfer all their wealth to the shareholders of these companies without restriction. Just let them fucking do it.
I am very curious what this is going to mean for potential Poly token. So, I mean, they're at 20 billion now. They're effectively doubling every 3 to 5 months. Poly raised in October at 9. Kalshi raised, I think, December at 10 or 11. So they both have doubled since then. The volumes are continuing to go up and to the right. I have to imagine they're going to be even higher during 2026 midterms.
Just wait till March Madness, dude.
March Madness is going to be huge. And then we'll have World Cup, World Cup will be the summer and that into midterms. So this was a golden.
This is a great thing about being a sports gambling platform. There's always something around the corner. I mean, we got so many professional leagues.
Well, that's the thing too about the prediction markets. It's like still predominantly dominated by sports. It's not, I want to say like breaking out in other ways as much as I expected it to, but I guess that's all I can say. It's like I thought other markets that weren't sports would have more, volume, but sports are consistent and like, bombing Middle East isn't. So I understand that, but it's still
it's also the one market that doesn't really have insiders. It's
sports.
Like, I mean, obviously that will get laughed at and a bunch of people.
Well,
we're already saying scandal, but like besides, I know the spirit of what you're saying is indeed.
Yeah, if you're watching Oklahoma City play the Nuggets, you're not like, oh, Don Jr. has his friends who have insider information on this that I'm gonna get fucked with. No,
you could be like, well, Terry Rozier is going to leave this game early and not return after his buddies all bet the under on him. Like,
yeah. No, Taylor's all this time. Like there is that, but I don't know if that. I feel like at the end of the day, like if it's the third quarter and you're betting on a basketball game, it's a 50-50 bet relative to the market. If you like to someone who has equal information and equal skill.
Real quick, last week sports were 40% of Polymarket's notional volume. 1 billion,
that's low.
2.5.
Very
Kalshi. Oh, 2 billion and a 2.8. So that's.
I don't buy Polymarket data because it's getting farmed. It's getting farmed to all hell.
There's also no fees on Polymarket.
No fees in farming. Like
so
it's almost like the data is pointless.
Yeah,
it's like looking at NFT data back in like the heyday.
Sure. Then the other headline, which is another bullet in the thesis that sports is their most important market right now. Polymarket tapping Palantir to police their sports sector. This one surprised me. This just came out this morning. Polymarket enlisting firms, including Palantir, police sports contracts, trying to prevent and report suspicious activity, includes screening against existing lists of participants already banned from sports betting. So they're going effectively after folks who should not be sports betting.
Or people who should be. Like they just go after people who are good, right? Or are you saying, or is this like going after Pete Rose when he's betting on the Reds?
I think it's the former. I think my interpretation of this is they're going after like sharps. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe like it's
suspicious activity is like winning. That's the suspicious activity here that they're going after. They're like, hey, dude, like,
well, who's banned? Participants already banned from sports betting. Like, I'm trying to think like who's
I guess like aren't like players and officials and people involved with all the games technically banned from doing it? Like, is it taking measures against them? I can't imagine that reads like we're taking measures against the people banned from DraftKings and FanDuel who are, one of the 0.001% who've actually made money in this snake pit of an environment. And we're going to ban them from trying to make money in the free market version of it. Like, there's no way that can be right. I don't know.
We'll have to wait for more than
I would guess it would be like they're working to block, refs and family members of athletes.
So it's supposed to be, in theory, it would be folks who could perhaps impact outcomes. Maybe
one thing about running a business is you want your users to have a fair experience. And if there are, making money over the next year isn't going to do anything. Like, but like if it's because of activity that makes it a less attractive experience for your users, like them always losing because things are rigged and you get thrown in jail or whatever, or you get in trouble with regulators and you become a public enemy, that's not going to help anybody. So companies at the end of the day want to, and I think not an existential threat, but like certainly one of the things these guys don't like is unfair experiences. They make money on volume. They don't make money on, so at the end of the day, it's not surprising to me that they're going to pull out all the stops to make sure that every user has as fair of an experience as possible. And that's good. If you're going to raise money, you should do stuff like this to make it fair. And then you can make the case that you're helping the industry. And that's what these guys want to do.
It's interesting, right? Like cracking down on inside trading, I think would be applauded, but there was also a point in time where folks said inside trading was a feature.
I mean, that was Brian Armstrong said that on an earnings call. Like, these guys are idiots, it's like, what, but the other thing though in life is CEOs say a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's, that sentence is etched in my head. And I'm like, what if every sentence I've said on one of these calls was etched in someone's head?
I'd be in trouble.
I'd be in trouble.
I'd be
just today. I'd be in trouble. Trump would come after me.
You know who else is in trouble? Just before we wrap up the show, folks who haven't sold their ordinals yet.
Wait, why are you calling me out in the show, Tyler?
Are you saying that to the only guy who has an ordinal behind his right ear?
They already took him down. I wasn't ready. I thought we had more time.
Go to satflow.com.
Oh, okay. All right. So
we're okay. We're okay.
It's just Magic Eden, folks.
There is some if you had listings. Yeah, if you had like listings on Magic Eden that you didn't cancel or something, they can be bought in the future because they're still out there. So that was the one thing I think that I went through and made sure I didn't have any stale listings.
No, I hope none of my ordinals sell.
Oh my God, that would be so terrible if that puppet I listed for half a Bitcoin sold. Oh, that would be the worst day of my life. I would really hope that wouldn't happen.
I'll have to have a proper funeral one day. But,
dude, they can't die.
Runes. What about runes?
They're dead. Yeah, those are dead.
We can at least have one for runes. And then that also reminded me, folks, that Nifty Gateway time clock is ticking.
Yeah, I think you have another month. They also came out, and I guess I'll give props to them because I'm normally pretty harsh with them. They did say that even if you aren't able to hit the deadline, they will work with those people to get their stuff off later. They basically came out and explicitly said they're not going to just take your stuff after the deadline.
We appreciate that.
Which is good because they have millions of dollars worth of stuff still.
Yeah, I've got some cool stuff on there. Some of the original art pieces I ever bought.
But yeah, April 23rd is how long you have before you'd have to get them involved. So you still have a month and a half.
Yeah. I had the OG Starbucks NFTs. A handful of others. My masks were on there. I did pull my masks off. But that's a pretty big collection. So there's a lot of assets on there. But we'll cover that in another show, folks. We're at the hour mark, but I want to thank all of our folks who have held on this long and reward a couple lucky folks with some Yeet money. So we're going to spin the wheel 2 times, $500 each. Looks like this might be our bronze and silver run here. And we're just going to do 1 unranked, $1 minimum weighted spin, and then 1 silver, $250. So, all right. So this will be our weighted wheel. And producer Charlie, whenever you're ready. There you go.
The weighted wheel, dude. You gotta love how probabilities work.
That rewards the users who are active. And now we will do this will be our silver plus 250. Silver had done 250 in the last week. This one should be more even. Look at the wheel. All right. And so less folks are talking. Folks have been active in the comments today, so congrats, you both won $500. Again, per the Yeet team, you got to log in. You'll claim $100 per day, 5 days. Make sure you know that, and you can reach out to the team. They'll help you with any questions on that. Well, folks, want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in today. Stats, thank you for joining us. We'll have to have you on more frequently for the show. You're really loved the chat here today. Deez, thank you as well. Folks, we'll be back next Tuesday. Until then, have a great week.